Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Monday, September 29, 2025. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. For the first time in the history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines' Parliament, sign language interpretation was provided during a sitting, ensuring that members of the hearing-impaired community in attendance could fully participate in the proceedings. This landmark initiative was spearheaded by Minister with responsibility for persons with disabilities, Honorable Keisal Peters. In a ministerial statement, Minister Peters emphasized the importance of inclusion, particularly as the world observed International Day of Sign Languages on September 23, 2025.
Their presence here today is not merely symbolic. It is a powerful statement about inclusion, visibility, and representation. It is especially fitting that this takes place as we recognize a day centered around the rights of the hearing-impaired community. This, Madam Speaker, is not just a one-time occurrence, but a practice that the ministry intends to strongly advocate for as a permanent feature in our parliamentary and other national proceedings. It affirms that Parliament is for all Vincentians and that communication should never be a barrier to participation in democracy. Before I continue, Madam Speaker, I wish to extend a warm welcome and special acknowledgement to those present in the gallery today.
All members of Parliament wore blue pins, the color symbolizing sign language and support for the deaf and hard of hearing community. Minister Peters shared that her ministry has spent time engaging directly with persons who are hearing impaired and is committed to implementing programs that improve their quality of life. This includes plans for specialized training, with further details expected to be outlined in the next fiscal year's budgets.
Madam Speaker, this government is not content with symbolic observance. We are committed to systemic and sustained change. To that end, the ministry will be advancing several strategic initiatives which will be outlined greater during my 26th budget presentation in this Honorable House. Among them, national sign language training programs, improved access to public services, government communication in sign language, and strengthening partnerships and policy co-creation. Madam Speaker, let us be clear. Inclusion is not an act of charity. It is a matter of justice. The right to use and access sign language is protected by international human rights instruments, most notably the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, to which St. Vincent and the Grenadines remains firmly committed.
Among the guests present for today's special parliamentary sitting were representatives from the Voice of the Disabled, National Society for Persons with Disabilities, students from Georgetown Secondary School, as well as students from North Union Secondary School. The presence marked a significant step toward mainstreaming accessibility and inclusion within the nation's highest decision-making body. Minister of Education, the Honorable Curtis King, has revealed that 2 secondary schools recorded no passes in mathematics during this year's CSEC Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate examinations. In contrast, English language registered a better overall pass rate across schools nationwide. Minister King was responding to a question posed by opposition parliamentarian Honorable Terence Oliver, who inquired about the number of students achieving 5 or more CSEC passes and whether any schools failed to secure passes in mathematics.
There are, of course, a significant majority of students who attain 5 subjects, including English, but unfortunately did not get mathematics. The figure mentioned earlier, therefore, does not factor in the number of students who got 5 subjects overall. That included English or mathematics only. Consideration must also be given to those students who sat exams in the 4th form. For example, there are students who yearly will write mathematics in Form 4. They would not do English, because they would attempt English in fifth form. Part 3 of the questions. Are there any schools without passes in mathematics and English? Yes, there are 2 schools that did not record any passes in mathematics. However, all schools achieve passes in English E.
Minister King described 2025 as the best year for CSEC results since St. Vincent and the Grenadines first participated in the exams in 1979. He noted that the Ministry of Education has implemented several targeted interventions aimed at improving mathematics performances. These initiatives were designed following detailed analysis of past results and will be monitored over a 3-year period.
School, there might be a weakness in a subject, so you don't have to have a national program to deal with that. You deal with these schools specifically. But as I indicated, math is a challenge. So this is what we're doing about math. A focused approach has been taken with mathematics, given its national average. The ministry is working to implement, and I should put it this way, we have commenced what we call a math enhancement program, spearheaded by competent educators of mathematics, working through an international partner and also a regional partner. The international partner is a global partnership for education, and the regional partner is the Caribbean Development Bank. We put together a program that will run for 3 years. And this program engage competent educators in mathematics.
Minister King further stated that the ministry is collaborating with the regional education programs to enhance mathematics instruction and outcomes. One proposed strategy includes adjusting the timing of mathematics instruction and assessments within the school year to allow for better preparation and a mastery of content.
The ministry will continue to work with the Commonwealth of Learning to provide capacity building opportunities for teachers of mathematics. And we had that initiative done earlier this year. Besides these pointed efforts, additional interventions were made through the OECS program for education, advancement, and relevant learning, which was geared towards improving numeracy and literacy among the primary schools. Efforts are also being made to align the curriculum in the primary and secondary school. An example is the OECS harmonized curriculum, which is now being implemented. Additionally, CXC is rolling out a modular approach to writing mathematics and English that should help students who will now take the subjects in smaller bites.
In other news, Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Savs has assured Vincentians that the Unity Labour Party ULP government has more plans in store to drive national development and uplift communities across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Speaking at a ULP event in North Leeward over the weekend, Dr. Gonsalves emphasized that several new development projects are in the pipeline, all geared toward enhancing the country's economic and social transformation. He stated that these initiatives will focus on community empowerment and delivering long-term benefits for the Vincentian people.
We have had nearly 25 years of tremendous progress. And we have had political stability. We have taken this country from the depths of despair, and we have put us on a path of tremendous development. We see the development all around us. Not only in the physical infrastructure with airports and seaports and the like, we see it in education, in health and wellness, and we see it in housing, and sports and culture, electricity, water, telecommunications, everything, all aspects of development. We have seen tremendous progress.
The Prime Minister also took the opportunity to reflect on the ULP's track record in office, noting that the party's leadership has brought stability and steady progress to the nation. He argued that both the standard of living for citizens and the country's global profile have improved significantly since the ULP first assumed office in 2001.
Even though you have a lot of satisfactions, you will also have dissatisfaction. But the point about it is this: the leadership of the party, which we have all worked together with, which have helped to bring the satisfactions, whatever dissatisfactions exist, we're the one who will bring the satisfactions out of those dissatisfactions. And once we are human beings, there are things always we will have to do. That's why we pray and ask God not to let us leave behind any unfinished task. We have a lot of things to do still in every single area. But you know that your life is better now than it was when we first came to office. And the country is better off by far.
In a clear message to those calling for political change, Dr. Gonsalves asserted that now is not the time to switch direction. He argued that the country is in a critical phase of development that requires continuity in leadership, pointing out that there is too much at stake. The Prime Minister said now is the time for unity and continued support of the ULP's agenda for transformation.
When we start, you will see. And we are now beginning to ramp up. All over the country, there's a growing enthusiasm for labor. There's no mood in the country for any change of government. On the other hand, people are saying that they're going to re-elect the government and re-elect it by a bigger majority than the last time. Lots of work to do between now and when the date is announced and the date for the election. At the moment, only two people know, God and Ralph. But we are building it well, and I like the energy, I like the spirit. Let's keep it up, and let us be organized. Make sure you register. Young people, make sure you register.
Opposition Member of Parliament for East Kingston, Fitzgerald Fitz-Bramble, has expressed serious concern about the current state of the nation, declaring that things are hard in the country. His remarks came during the opening ceremony of his party constituency office in Sion Hill on Saturday night. Bramble, a representative of the New Democratic Party, the NDP, painted a grim picture of life for many Vincentians, citing high unemployment rates and widespread poverty as key issues affecting households and communities across the country.
And the truth is, in this country, things are hard, too hard. We are living in a time when too many of our people are struggling just to get by. Right here in East Kingston, we see it every single day, man. Unemployment is high. Youth unemployment is even higher. Poverty grips too many of our homes and is literally killing us. Our infrastructure is crumbling. Housing is out of reach. Our healthcare system is on life support. Our schools are under-resourced and overtaken by woodlice and fleas. Sporting fields are neglected. Businesses are struggling. And crime is killing the potential of our young people.
Bramble criticized what he described as the government's failure to implement sustainable economic policies that addresses the root causes of poverty and joblessness. He argued that without real change, the current situation will continue to deteriorate. The East Kingston MP went on to stress that mere survival should not be the goal for citizens. Instead, he said the country must work toward creating real opportunities for upward mobility and a higher standard of living.
My opponent said that things are going in the right direction, and if it ain't broken, don't fix it. That is their solution to what we are experiencing in this country today. But while they boast of progress, the truth on the ground tells a different story. Over 7,000 Vincentians on poor relief, surviving on $275 a month. $275 a month. But let's be real. Let's be real here, East Kingstonians. $275 isn't relief. It's survival. And survival is not the objective here. Our goal is to provide you with opportunity for a better standard of living. Jobs that pay, businesses that grow, and futures that are built on dignity, not dependency.
A key point in Bramble's address was the need to address the growing disillusionment among the nation's youth. He noted that many young Vincentians are leaving the country in search of better opportunities abroad, a trend he believes must be urgently reversed.
We deserve more, and with an NDP government, we will do more. The number one problem facing our people today is jobs and a decent salary. With an NDP government, every young Vincentian will have access to a job, training, or internship within months of leaving school. That is our youth guarantee pledge that Dr. Friday made to our young people. No young person should ever spend years searching for work without hope. That is why our young people are leaving St. Vincent and the Grenadines in droves. We must give young people a reason to stay and build in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Bramble closed his remarks by calling on Vincentians to demand better from their leaders and to take an active role in shaping the country's future. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, the SVG-PF, is investigating a fatal shooting incident that occurred in Middle Road, Ottawa on Sunday, September 28th at approximately 11:50 p.m., which claimed the life of Enrique Cadogan, a 25-year-old laborer of Richmond Hill. A news release from the SVG Police Force says officers responded promptly to reports of the incident. Upon arrival to the scene, they discovered Cadogan with multiple gunshot wounds about his body. The district's medical officer was summoned and subsequently pronounced the victim dead. The magistrate later granted permission for the body to be removed. The crime scene unit processed the scene, and a post-mortem examination will be conducted to ascertain the exact cause of death. The SVG-PF appeals to anyone with information that could assist with this investigation to come forward, pointing out that your cooperation is vital in ensuring justice in this matter and maintaining the safety and security of our nation. The SVG Police Force extends condolences to the family and friends of Cadogan during this difficult time. The SVG Police Force is also investigating the circumstances surrounding a fire that occurred in Lago Heights on Sunday, September 28, 2025. The SVG-PF says at approximately 5:47 p.m., police received reports of a fire and the fire brigade was promptly dispatched and upon arrival met the community members who were actively assisting with the firefighting efforts on motor vehicle HP 437, which was in the garage of a two-story wall structure. The omnibus had been on fire, which affected the ground floor of the house, causing extensive damage. The firefighters were able to fully extinguish the flames, bringing the scene under control. The omnibus was completely destroyed and the top floor of the residence was slightly damaged. 3 occupants of the home reported minor burns and were taken to the Milton Keynes Memorial Hospital, where they were treated and discharged. The SVG Police Force is appealing to the public for any information that may assist in this investigation. Persons are encouraged to contact the police control at 457-1211. Any police station, or speak with any police officer that you trust, noting that it recognizes the vigilance of the community members. The SVG Police Force urges the general public to exercise caution when dealing with fires. It says investigations are ongoing. The Carnival Development Corporation CDC is already making plans for Vincimas 2026 with a renewed focus on addressing long-standing challenges while building on the success of this year's festival. Speaking at the CDC prize-giving ceremony held on Sunday evening at the Victoria Park, CDC Chairman Ricardo Adams celebrated the accomplishments of Vincimas 2025 and emphasized the need to maintain the energy and momentum moving forward. Chairman Adams once again appealed for the long-promised accommodation facilities for mass bands, which he stressed are crucial to improving the working conditions and logistics for band leaders and designers, while acknowledging the increased financial support from the government and the National Lotteries Authority. Adams noted that the CDC also needs to explore new revenue streams to sustainably manage and grow the festival.
I've heard that there are hotels that are already filled for Vincimas 2026. So that says that, again, we're filling the hotel rooms. All the rental cars were out. You couldn't get a rental car over the Carnival weekend. We know that people were going to the restaurants, the bars, etc. I need to have some very robust discussions on homes for the mass bands. We need to have some very robust discussions at the CDC on how we can identify new revenue streams, because a lot of people don't realize the CDC, apart from doing Vincimas, is also the secretariat for Carifesta. It's also the secretariat for the Independence festivities. We also support through infrastructure the 9 mornings activities. So our work doesn't finish when Carnival is done. When Vincimas is over, we then roll into our other activities. And so we need to figure out how we can create additional revenue streams for the CDC going forward.
Also addressing the prize-giving ceremony was Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, the Honorable Carlos James. He reaffirmed the government's commitment to constructing a permanent home for mass bands.
Of a home for the mass tents. The mass bands, they've been looking for a home for a very long time. We have met with the Carnival Bands Incorporated. In fact, our Prime Minister have been very supportive in this, Ali, you know this. And we're working closely with the Office of the Chief Surveyor to identify a suitable location where we can establish and construct a home for our mass men and women who continue to display their creativity, the Vincentian quality that you can not find anywhere else, particularly in the Eastern Caribbean. I know of many of our mass men and women who travel across the Eastern Caribbean to work and to build costumes. Some of them are going up to St. Kitts in a few months. Some of them are here in the back. Some went to Grenada early in the summer. And we continue to display a level of creativity that you can only find here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
He also noted that a cultural hub will be established at the cruise ship berth, which will serve as a space for artists and cultural activities, enhancing year-round cultural engagements. Monarch at the Victoria... Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves has proposed that Victoria Park, the main venue for many national and cultural events, be renamed ahead of Independence Day on October 27, 2025. Dr. Gonsalves said Victoria Park is a space of national importance and that it is time that the name reflects Vincentian identity and cultural heritage rather than colonial history. He added that public consultation will be key to determining a suitable name and expressed hope that consensus would be reached in time for the 46th anniversary of independence.
Because both the material and the non-material are in a dialectical interconnection. But it is incongruous that we are doing all of this and we're still calling this place Victoria Park. You have to allow me to change the name from Victoria Park. Please allow me to do it. We have been debating this thing. Government cannot continue to be government is not a continuing university seminar. We can't just be talking about this thing every time and every day and every year. let me do this thing for independence. Let me call this thing something else. And we can call it appropriately. There are many, many names which are suggested. You know? Well, you can call it, I mean, we can call it after somebody, we can call it after the nation, we can, whatever we do, but let's change it. And we have a lot of discussion. We can synthesize and concretize this discussion over the next couple of weeks before I give my Independence Day speech. So let's have a conversation on it. Okay? Finally.
He noted that the name Victoria, a relic of colonial times, no longer holds much meaning for us, and that it is time that there is a name that truly represents the people and culture of this nation.
I know, having gone through the constitutional referendum in 2009, a lot of people love the Queen, even a dead Queen like Victoria, who died 100 and something years ago, and she never set foot on St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Why should we continue to call it this? I know that there's a bridge in North Windward called God Save the Queen Bridge. And there are some people who have a problem in changing the name, even though the Queen whom we are asking God to save is dead and we can't help her now. You know, she has done her time. And whatever sins she has committed, if she doesn't ask for forgiveness, she wouldn't be among the first to rise. When the trump shall sound, I hope that she has had her forgiveness, like all of us who have sinned and come short of the glory.